Yeah.
Everybody's muted.
All right. Everybody go ahead and mute yourselves out. All right. Can't do that.
No.
All right. Okay. All right. Welcome, everybody. I am Joshua Dunsky. This is Lisa Dunsky, and this is our Monday night Limitless team call. Welcome, welcome. Happy President's Day. Wow, do we have so much going on. I think leaving our retreat on fire was an understatement. You guys have been, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Your businesses are showing exactly the action that you guys are putting in, that we're putting in. And congratulations to you. I mean, it's, you know, a lot of times we go to events and we get all revved up, we light our fire, and we talked about this, life starts to poke at us, and we got this responsibility, that responsibility, and we actually never put into action what we're supposed to do. That's obviously not been happening since that weekend. So kudos to you guys, just incredible. And we see a lot of things in the work for this week. Last week was incredible. So I really want to congratulate everybody.
Mm-hmm. Isopulse is blowing up.
Yeah, Isopulse. If you don't have Isopulse, make sure you get Isopulse so you can stay on top of what's going on in your business. For those of you that don't know, it's a notification system, lets you know what's happening, who's getting PIBs and double PIBs, and who's enrolling. Cycles and all that. If you don't, show everybody so they can see what that looks like. Push it closer.
Gives you all the notifications.
So it's called Isopulse. If you don't have it, I highly recommend. It's free. And it's another way to stay in touch with your team.
Jody. That's you.
Congratulations,
Cindy.
Jody and Cindy.
And Isha.
Hey, let's start out the call tonight with some wins. Let's see. You guys can unmute yourselves. Anything that's going on, you know, we celebrate the big wins. We celebrate the small wins. Believe it or not, the small wins can be even more important than the big ones. So if anybody's got any comments, any wins, Jen, why don't you start off with that?
So I'm kind of on a high right now because of this, because yesterday, this is not the win. Yesterday, I had a call with a couple. Jason and I were both on the phone with this couple, and I've been going back and forth with the guy for like a month. And he was enrolled with someone else, and he is interested in re-enrolling under me because this other person is not active really anymore. And his wife got on the phone and she had some objections, and it didn't go. It was going kind of okay, and then it just kind of went, and I was feeling a little defeated after that. And Jason was kind of giving me some tips and you know, saying, oh, you talk too much, oh, you didn't listen, blah, 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 whatever. So tonight I had a call with one of my personally enrolled, and she's a super fan, right? She orders like 300 BB a month. She enrolled her husband and keeps his account active. Whenever there's something new, she's all over it. But she's a super, super, super busy businesswoman, and I know she's not interested in the business, but she loves the product. So thank you, Lisa, because you're the one who taught me, like, well, if they've already got one person, they can enroll like their mother or their sister or somebody and just put, you know, BB on an account. It's a perfect time because mocha shakes are coming out tomorrow. So I was like, the universe aligned. I called her. She was super pumped to know that she can cash in her like $324. She's pumped, and she's the one who said, oh, can I like enroll my mom? I was like, freaking yes, enroll your mom. So it was just great. It was exciting. And I was like coming at her from where she was at, which is she doesn't want to build this business right now, but now I'm going to show her she can do it and it's easy. And she's going to get her mom enrolled. And I said, yeah. And then when all your CrossFitters, and then she goes, oh yeah. And I was just in Antigua, and all my friends were like, holy crap, you're in a bikini. We haven't seen you in a bikini in years. She's like, great. And I'm like, yeah, so tell them I'm using this stuff. I love it. So anyway, that was just a huge win. I'm really excited. She's going to order her mocha shakes and enroll her mom tomorrow. And then she's going to start cycling, and yay. And
awesome.
I'm, you know, and I'll be back. She's on my right side, and I dropped out of manager, and I'll be back to manager and further on my way to director. So
yay.
Big. Awesome.
I have goosebumps on that.
Awesome. Anybody else want to share? For those of you jumping on, we're doing some shares and congratulations to anybody.
What's up there?
Cindy.
I just want to shout out Sam. I know she's trying to get on right now. She did we did her first three-way call the other day, three-way Zoom call, and she did amazing and is running out of the gate with this. So I'm just super proud of her, and she's a go-getter, and I can't wait to see what happens with her.
Awesome. Congratulations, Sam. All right. Jody.
So I have a couple things. One, I want to shout out to Sarah Ackerman, who once again did the Say Yes and Figure It Out Later and is coming to Eric Worre with us, which is awesome. Shout out to Eliza for doing three-way calls for me at a last minute's notice this week. Greatly appreciated. And two quick wins. One of them is someone that I started talking to well over a year ago who had tried Isagenix a long time ago, had a bad experience. And over the course of the last probably 4 to 5 months, we've been chatting off and on. And all of a sudden she said she was ready and her wife wants in too. And we were supposed to enroll her this coming Friday with her wife. And instead she was like, I'm ready to go on Sunday. And I was like, let's do it. So that was awesome. And then I just enrolled my first gym owner. So I'm really excited.
Awesome, Jody. Way to go.
Work.
Congratulations, everyone.
There's like so many wins. We could take up the whole call.
I know.
I love it. It's good. Anyone else? Go, Eliza.
So I did something that I have been meaning to do for like a year, and that is to just invite my closest friends. It ended up being like 35, 36 people to take a look. And I haven't had that many responses, but you know what? It feels so great to just have done it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the biggest thing that now is, you know, as people start coming back and answering me, you know, I'm hoping that they're going to at least take a look. I may have a whole lot of three-way calls coming up because of that movement. The people that got back to me that said yes so far are people that I absolutely never thought would even respond to me. So take that leap of faith, you guys, because you have no idea who is going to say yes.
Awesome. Awesome. And those things we say to ourselves in our head, we think they're saying about us. It's usually just us. And so that's awesome.
I'm talking about you.
Or if it's her.
Whatever you're thinking.
Exactly.
I actually am thinking it.
So welcome, Danielle. Welcome, Mary Kate. Hey, Amy. Those who are jumping on, Elizabeth and Mike. Thanks for being here.
Baby Chase.
Yeah, Baby Chase in the house.
Wait, I have a win real quick.
Go ahead.
So Lisa Zaracket and Bob Gamble were here at the. Oh, it's frozen. Everybody's frozen.
Uh-oh.
There we go. Did we freeze or was that everybody else?
We froze.
I figured it was us. So Lisa and Bob were at the retreat, and Bob finally opened up and did his first post, like public post. Actually, I don't even think it was him. I think we all kind of did it and tagged him, but he was totally okay with it. So a couple of friends, mutual friends of ours, so it's actually how we met Bob and Lisa, saw Bob and finally were like, okay, let's do it. And so the two of them are going to get enrolled under Lisa and Bob probably tomorrow. Awesome. Very excited for them.
And the last thing I want to say before we get started tonight, I want to give a big shout out to Sarah Ackerman. Every time I turn on my Facebook now, she's doing a live, which never happened before. This girl was questioning herself, and I can't believe this. Sarah, when you're on there, I learned from you. I learned from watching you on. Are we frozen again?
It looks like we're a little frozen.
Oh no! You should put your thing on airplane mode. Oh guys, are we frozen? Something's going on.
No.
We switch networks. Yeah.
Don't do that. You'll bump everybody out.
All right.
No, she said no. We're not frozen.
So Sarah, I just want to give kudos to you, my friend. I love seeing your face on there and all those lives that you're doing. The second shout out I want to give is to Elizabeth and Mike doing their first cleanse day, jumping into this, enrolling people before they actually had their box. We are frozen again.
No, we're
not.
Yeah.
So it's just our screen.
Yeah.
All right. So anyways, congratulations to all you guys. And tonight we're going to jump right in. I want to call your attention to something that's super, super important in this business. You all know we train on this a lot. It's our inviting skills. Inviting skills is a gateway skill. We have to understand, we have to know how to properly expose people to what we have. We have to be able to invite them, right? And invite them in such a way that it builds curiosity. the other thing we need to be able to do is deal with objections. And we need to know how to face them. We need to know how to address them from a non-confrontational place, and a place that we can actually attract our prospect that much more if it's done right and done like professionals. So I'm super excited to have one of our rising leaders teach and train tonight, someone who we love very much and got to spend some time with last weekend. Was it last weekend, the retreat?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I can't believe the week has already gone by.
Oh,
2 weekends ago, right? That's what I thought.
Oh my gosh, I don't know.
So
It's like 2
Jen
weekends.
Ayotte is going to be training us tonight on objections, and then we're going to deal with we'll take some questions afterwards. But Jen, I want to turn the time over to you, my friend, and thank you for doing this.
Awesome. I'm excited, and thank you. Can you guys hear me? Okay, because I just plugged in because I've got the dishwasher going. I've got all kinds of background noise. So I want to thank Dr. Josh and Lisa so much for giving me this opportunity and inviting me to speak on here, because it's something that I've been really desiring to do and super excited. So I want to let you guys know before I jump into this that some of you may have seen this video, but Laura Stevens, who's one of our Isagenix millionaires, who, she's just incredible. She's a mom, and her husband was active military when she got involved with this, but she has just this amazing team, and she did some two YouTube videos on overcoming objections. And I had watched them a while ago, and it's been a while since I've watched them again, but when I was preparing for this, I rewatched them, and she just had some really great things to say. She had several objections that she talked about. I'm just going to do 10 of them. There are a couple that don't apply anymore, because when she made her video, it was 2015, and it was prior to our Customer First program. So some things were different then, and they didn't apply. So I'm going to jump into this, and if people have questions at the end, we can, if we have time to do that, and we'll see. So the number one objection that I think most of us hear is, I can't afford it. Right. So for me, I know that's probably the one that I hear most. And something that I learned in the very beginning was that I was thinking it was too expensive. So if you come from a place of feeling that this system is too expensive, then that's what you're going to portray. Even if you don't mean to, it's going to come across. So you have to really understand the value of this system and of these products before you are able to share them with others and not have them feel that. So sometimes if you're getting like a particular objection, then you need to kind of examine yourself, because oftentimes it's your objection that's coming across to others. So that's number one. Something that we actually talked about at the retreat was that people will often say they don't have the money when in fact they're spending that money in other places, on vacations, on iPhones, I don't know, like on different things, but they don't understand the value. So I think, and I'm not going to go into the cake recipe, but I think things like the cake recipe, which if you're new, we do have a file or a couple files on that in the Limitless team page. And perhaps, I know Jody did a training, a practice session on that a couple weeks ago, and, perhaps we'll go back to that again. But I think the cake recipe is really important in helping people get to their why first, so that they can see the value, that if they don't see why, they should be spending this money, then they're not going to, if it's not something deeper. Something that you could ask people is, if you did have the money, would you see the value, or would you see the opportunity here if you did have the money? And that would help, that kind of helps you figure out, are they really interested? Are they really serious about this? Are they really invested in it, or maybe not right now? Something that Laura Stevens mentioned, and I love this, is that if you, for a value pack, for instance, $20 a day gets you 80 meals a month. So think about that. $20 a day is 80 meals a month. So when you look at it that way, it kind of changes your perspective. That's a pretty good deal. I like to talk to people a lot about what they're already spending, right? So we talk about Isagenix as being just a reallocation of money. Everybody eats. We all eat. We all buy groceries. where can we, can you look at your budget? What are you spending now? And how can you reallocate that on isogenics food? And also, where can you kind of trim the fat? This is a phrase that Laura Stevens uses, but I ask people, so how often do you go to Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts or go out to dinner or get takeout? I mean, that adds up. I've had people like look at their budgets and go, oh my gosh, like I get takeout every Friday night. It's costing X amount of money. And wow, I could probably not do without that. And it's not helping my health goals either. So, where can they look at their budget? Where can they look at the money they're spending and maybe trim some of it in order to afford this once they see the value, because they really have to see the value of it first and then look at their budgets. Even like alcohol, I mean, how expensive, how much does alcohol cost? And if you're working on, resetting your body, and if you have weight loss goals or things like that, alcohol is not going to help you get to your goals. So helping them look at that. Also, huge one is that when you're ordering a system, like you're ordering a value pack, for instance, you're ordering a whole month's worth of food, 2 meals a day for 30 days all at once. So most people do not, I don't know anyone who buys their groceries up front like that, right? So that does look like a lot of money, but how much money do they spend a week on groceries? And feel, felt, found comes into effect here. So if you don't know feel, felt, found, basically I can truly say this, I understand how you feel. I felt the same way when I first started with isogenics. I looked at this and said, wow, that's an awful lot of money. I don't know if I can add that to my budget. But what I found is that I'm actually saving money on 2 shakes a day when I used to go out and buy a salad that was, $10 for lunch. And now my lunch is about $3. Talking about it in that way, just talking about how, you can relate to them, but what you really found, or maybe you could say that you found you're saving money on groceries, you're not needing to buy as many groceries because of your isogenics food. And then finally, sharing, you share, they share. How can who do you know? Who are 2 people that might want to get started with you? Who are 2 people who for sure would do this with you? And then you can help them right away to start getting their products paid for. So I think that's really the longest one, because I think I can't afford it is just, it's huge. And there are a lot of different ways to approach it. And sometimes you have to approach it from different angles. Number 2 is, this is not something I can do long-term, or I want to eat real food. I mean, how many times do we hear that? I don't want to drink my meals. I just want to chew. I need to eat real food. Few ways to ask that. So asking them, okay, well, you're eating real food now, but we're talking about this nutrition. So why are you coming to kind of like, how's that working for you? Obviously in a nice way, but is that working? Are you meeting your goals by eating, doing what you're doing now? We all know, I think most of us here, that weight loss is 80% nutrition and 20% exercise. Oh, sorry, I just skipped ahead. That's the next one. Excuse me. So long term, sorry. I think I skipped ahead the whole thing. So never mind. We're going to go back. So something long term. Think about the first 30 days. Instead of looking long term, start with the first 30. Okay, well, let's not worry about long term right now. But for the first, can you commit to this for 30 days? And then we'll go from there. Share your own experience. So for me, and for some of you, you might say, well, these shakes are my baseline nutrition. This food is my baseline nutrition. A lot of people say everything else is just recreation, right? Or, I still eat real food. I just, or chewing food or fork and knife meals. I eat lots of food. I love to go out. I love food, but this is my baseline nutrition. I crave these shakes. I mean, all of us who are using these products, we crave the shakes. Our bodies want this nutrition. So why would we want to stop? Definitely it's long-term, and it looks different. Maintenance looks different for everybody. So let's start with the first 30 days. Let's start with those goals and move on. So I apologize, guys. I skipped ahead. Number 3 is diet and exercise is all I need. So that's where the how's it working for you comes in. So thank you. Sorry, I skipped ahead a little bit. Yeah, baseline nutrition. So diet and exercise are all I need. I've heard this from a few people, and maybe you guys have too.
So this is where I'm asking them, is that working for you? Okay, good. So if that's all you need is diet and exercise, great. You're eating full foods and you're exercising. So how are you meeting your goals? How's that working for you? How's it going for you? And, if they're coming to you because of what you have, then obviously they're looking for something else. This is where the 80-20 rule comes in, right? So we know 80% of weight loss is nutrition and 20% exercise. So getting to the gym takes time. And, I loved Eliza did this awesome live. Eliza, I loved it. Really about this very, very thing that people are saying, and they're saying to her, oh, you've done this with exercise. No. Some of us here used to exercise our butts off and not see the results. I've been a fitness instructor for almost 15 years. And until I started cleansing my body, I wasn't seeing those results. So 80-20, this is easy and it's convenient. Okay. So, yep, you can prep those foods all day long. Do you have the time for that? So you can approach it from that angle. Okay. So number 4 is the pyramid scheme, right? It sounds like a pyramid scheme. I had fun with this one today a little. There's some funny videos. So you can keep it pretty simple with pyramid scheme. I know Eric Worre actually says in GoPro, it's very simple, like pyramid schemes are illegal. I would never do something like that. I've actually used that because people know, like I'm a pretty like honest, good-hearted person, and people know this. I'm like, I would never take part in that. So you guys, if you don't know, a pyramid scheme is basically just, it's where money is exchanged, but there's no goods or services, no product, right? So we know we have an amazing product. We have this superfood nutrition and nutritional cleansing systems. It's not an illegal thing at all. A really cool thing that Laura Stevens said that I loved is to say, because sometimes people have this preconceived notion that in network marketing, and they think of that multi-level, that the people at the top are making all the money and everybody else is just like working to make them money. And when you say something like, you could be below me and actually make more money than I'm making, it's like, what? So a lot of people too that I've talked to who maybe have been with different companies or things like that say, oh, you guys all help each other. It's not competitive. Like you're not competing with this person no, we're helping, somebody who's below me, somebody who's like, we're all helping each other. And it allows people to create a business with no cap. So that's really what we offer people. And then number 5, is kind of flipping that on its head. Number 5, this one I hear a lot too. Sugar, there's too much sugar in our shakes, right? So guys, an apple has 23 grams of sugar. There are only 11 grams of sugar in an Isagenix complete meal isolane shake. And it's fructose that comes from beets, right? So I do sometimes I'll be like, so you don't eat fruit? I've asked people that question before, especially I had a dental hygienist who actually I think may enroll with one of my personally enrolled, who I've been going back and forth with forever because she's like, some of my patients, they drink these shakes and it's just not good for their teeth. And I was like, really, do you tell them not to eat fruit? And she doesn't really have a response, right? So, we need to teach people that they don't know that our body needs sugar to deliver these nutrients, right? So sugar is essential. It's not, it's not refined sugar. It's sugar that comes naturally from fruits and vegetables. Number 6, I spilled my tea here. Number 6 is, it sounds like everything else. I mean, we know, right? There are so many different nutritional companies out there now. And I just looked over, I'm like, what's going on in the chat? There's so much going on. I see squirrels. I'm like, Jody is crushing it. Jody is crushing it. So just some little fun facts here when people say, this is like everything else. There are all these shake companies, there are all these nutritional companies. There are. It's true. Yep. Some things you can say. We're one of the fastest growing network marketing companies in the world, and we're one of the youngest. That's pretty awesome. That just keeps it simple without too many facts and figures. Over 30 scientists on staff. We've a 12-month-long study. If you go to isagenixhealth.net, you can find all the research. This is, backed by science. We have so many transformations. This actually works. Like, we can find millions of real life transformations of people who use this nutrition to completely transform their bodies and transform their lives. So we have testimonials, and we've real people that we can even connect people with who have had real life transformations. So it obviously works. I know we joked at the retreat about the undenatured whey protein, but our shakes are not typical. They're not the same as all other shakes. And so you can send people information on what is in our shakes, or send them to Isoproduct, or send them somewhere where they can see that information and know that it's not the same as others. We have digestive enzymes in our shakes, right? So, and it's a true meal replacement shake. A lot of the shakes out there, you guys, are not. And I think most of us know that. This is a full meal. All you need is water. That's all you need. The water, and I mean, how simple could it be? It's a complete meal. Add some ice if you want, right? Other shakes, you have to add a whole bunch of other stuff. So it's not the same. Not the same at all. Number 7, I don't do systems. I don't do products, right? That was kind of me in the beginning. I was like, I'm a whole food person. I eat whole foods. I don't eat gender drink shakes. What's in those things? Because there are things out there that are heavily processed and have a bunch of junk in them. But so one of the things you could ask these people who are coming to you for wanting to know what you're doing, or wanting to know about our nutrition, okay, so you don't use systems or products. So how is what you're doing working for you? It's a similar question we asked before with diet and exercise. Is that working? And listen to them and hear what they say. You can share with them about our food being nutritionally bankrupt. You can send them information on that, that we really do need to supplement our foods, that we're not getting the same nutrients that our, grandparents, great-grandparents, maybe parents were getting, and that we do need this. And also that, we do use these products, but we eat quote-unquote real food too. Like, I don't just drink shakes all day long. The baseline, again, we eat real food too. And a lot of people have these preconceived notions about products or systems. So it's educating, and if they're open to learning, lots of places we can point them. Number 8 is, I read reviews online and people said it didn't work. That you could pretty much say that for any product out there, right? And this is where you can, again, share results with them, that you can add them to Unleash You. It's a perfect way. We have this beautiful group already that has real people in it who have shared their real transformations, and say, listen, these are my friends, and I know these people, and come join our group and see how it's worked for us, and whether they're non-scale victories or they're victories, they're scale victories, or they're visible on the outside or it's on the inside. So Unleash You is a great resource that we have. You can also hook them up to the IsoBody Challenge Facebook page, which is awesome, to show that, it does work. And really, we can say people who follow this system as it's intended do have results. We know that. It's just a fact. It works. This stuff works. You're always going to hear negative reviews of anything. Number 9, can I get it on Amazon? This I've certainly heard. I actually have someone who I'm really excited for, who recently enrolled with me, who was getting her shakes on Amazon. People don't know, you guys. They don't know what they don't know. So some things that you can tell them is that you don't know what you're getting if you order from Amazon. I did hear, and maybe Josh and Lisa or somebody wants to chime in either now or at the end, regarding new regulations that might be coming out for people who are selling isogenics on Amazon. But I did hear, and this video from Laura Stevens was 2015, but she said that actually there were stories of people who had dumped, I don't know, dumped powder from a Walmart shake into an Isogenics like canister and sold it. So that's sketchy, guys. So fake product could be sold. You can't guarantee the expiration date. There is certainly no 30-day money-back guarantee, like when you order it through the company. You can't take advantage of the comp plan. So nobody's going to pay you for eating this food if you buy it from Amazon. You're just giving Amazon and those people selling it your money. And this is one that I added because I think it's really important, and people I think do care about this. If you're buying your products from Amazon, you're not supporting independent associates like us, right? So I explained to people that, did you know that Isogenics, they don't pay for marketing. They put that money back into their associates who share these products with people that they care about. And then, how great is that, right? So you could be supporting your friend. You could be supporting a single mom who's trying to, raise her kids on her own. You could be supporting someone who can only afford this food if they share it with others, right? So, and that kind of goes to the heart. But Amazon is a big one, and I think you'd be surprised how many people are buying Isogenics from Amazon, unfortunately. And number 10, this is the last one. My life is too busy, and this is obviously one for business builders, or people who if you're sharing the opportunity, if you're sharing the business with somebody, and they say I'm just way too busy. You guys know I talk about how busy I am all the time. I am. And we all are, right? And many people, many of us, and I just tell people this, many of us are doing this in the pockets of our free time. Many of us have full-time gigs during the day, and we fit Isogenics into those little pockets, wherever they may be. If it's early in the morning, if it's after the kids go to bed, if it's, in between, if it's on your lunch break, you can do this business in pockets of time. And truly, if it's important to you, you'll make time for it. So if you see the value, it's kind of just the same as the products, right? If you see the value, then you will be open to it. So for me, it's important. And so I allocate that time. I don't have a lot of it, but I use it wisely, and I've learned how to do that. And finally, this isn't one of the 10, but I just love this so much. Something that Laura Stevens shared, and I love it, and I think you guys will too. So she says, use words like bless, opportunity, and help, as opposed to words like sell, business, or diet. So that to me was like, boom, right? There are some people who are looking for a business, so you would use the word business. But for a lot of people, if they think you're coming at them from like a business standpoint, or you're just trying to sell them something, it's going to push them away. And so using these words like, blessing people with this gift, this opportunity when you're talking about business, I want to help you reach your goals. Certainly diet is not what we want, right? Because this is a lifestyle, and this is a plan that can last for life. So that's really where I wanted to end this. But if you guys want, know that if you Google or go on YouTube and look up Laura Stevens compensation plan, you can watch her 2 videos where she talks about this, and that's where most of this came from. It's pretty awesome stuff. So thank you guys for listening. If anybody has questions, I'm happy to answer. And Josh and Lisa want to chime in?
Thank you so, Jen. That was awesome. Awesome. Everybody give Jen a big virtual hug. All right. Awesome, Jen.
We had no objections to that.
That was so great. Yeah, let's jump in here, and I want to start this conversation. So for those of you that are new on here, this is our weekly business call. We don't talk about ingredients. We talk about business. And And so understand that there's no dumb question. If you have a question, I guarantee you 8 other people have the same exact question, whether you started yesterday or you've been in the business for 10 years. So know that this is our place to get business done every single week. One of the things that helped me with objections is the feel, felt, found that you brought up, Jen. So there are specific phrases and things that we say and things that we get to learn, like Jen just taught us, for dealing with certain objections. But I'll tell you, feel, felt, found, you can overcome any single objection. So if that's all you get to know in practice, I totally understand how you feel. I felt the same way. And what I found was blah, blah, blah. I'd love to share that with you if you're open. So feel, felt, found, know that you can overcome any objection with that. But let's open the floor up, and in any comments you have, questions, but also if you've had any other objections and you want to bring it to the table right now, this is what we're here for. So let's talk about it. So I'll let anybody. Sarah Ackerman, go ahead.
So, it's kind of like a piece of one of the objections, but like I have had so many people tell me recently that they couldn't find, like, no, I won't be able to find 2 people. Nobody else would do it. I actually had somebody back out on a meeting with me today because they were just like, nope, I've asked everybody I know. Nobody is interested in doing it with me. Nobody can afford it. And that's been a huge struggle. And because like, I'm not talking to them, to their people. So it's kind of like there's that gap.
Totally. Sarah, I think you might have just answered it right in there, because your experience thus far was you were not getting on the phone and you were not doing 3-way calls. And 100%, anybody that I've talked to that I've shared the you share, they share, and they wanted to try to get a couple people to do this with them, they tried to explain it themselves, and they tried to talk about how much it was. And typically, if you're brand spanking new, unless you're just this crazy good rock star, you have no idea how to share the value. You have no idea how to share, the transformation that could possibly happen. You have no idea how to actually speak to that person. But so many people, including us, try to reinvent the wheel and say, oh, I got this, I can do this, I'm an adult, I can handle it, but in actuality, when we start this out, we really should be utilizing the other people, available as resources, because so many of the seasoned people have heard every objection in the book, and it's so much easier for the potential prospect to hear those responses from someone else rather than a brand new person that really their agenda is getting to people and not sharing this with someone and authentically wanting them to join them. They want to be able to afford it, so they're trying to get to people instead of share. So, I would say maybe change the message around and say, listen, I can show you a way to help get your products paid for. Who are a couple of people that I can talk to and help you share this awesome program with, and do it that way, just as a different approach, so that their mindset changes a little bit, that they're not just seeking out 2 people. They're thinking about someone who would really appreciate the gift, and they know right away they have to get on the phone with their sponsor.
Great objection there. And Sarah, so in that situation, I give them the language. I'll say, Linda, every time I talk to you, you're talking about you're wanting to lose weight. Every time I talk to you, you're upset that you can't lose weight. I would love to introduce you to one of my friends. Are you open to hearing what we're doing? I don't know if this is for you. I don't know if it's not for you, but I'd love to introduce you to Lisa. Are you open to that? And that's it. So I'll give Linda the verbiage, because she's not explaining the program. All she's saying is, I hear your pain. Linda hears her prospect's pain and says, listen, I'd love to connect you with someone. It may or may not be for you. So if that prospect is on my list that you're talking about, I'll hand them that verbiage so they could say, I'll say, do you know anybody? They'll say, yes. Great. This is what you tell them. And then you do exactly what Lisa just said. Awesome. Jody.
couldn't get to unmute. I just wanted to actually chime in on that because Eliza helped me with a 3-way call with one of the PEs. We were going over her auto ship, and she's a very shy person and wasn't really sharing any information with anyone. And Eliza said, would you be open to, if I sent you some sample text messages that you could send out, would you be open to just sending that out and trying that? And she was, and 48 hours later, she had a name for me and was able to hop on the phone call with someone. So even just taking that approach too, of showing them right up front, hey, we have these tools. And I mean, Jen Bennett and you guys have done such an amazing job of creating these templates in Limitless, that I was able to do it with someone else who hasn't even enrolled yet. She's working on finding her too. And I have a 3-way call with her she's actually just Facebook messaged me, which is so weird. The person I'm talking about right now. But anyway, I have a 3-way call with her because again, we were able to send her some templates. So those work really well too. And I think that also helps to drive home the point that they don't have to know everything. And I've just simply said, send these out. And as soon as they say they're open for more info, get them on the phone with me. You don't have to tell them anything else. So.
Awesome. Love it. Very cool. Who else? Paul.
Hey, so I just want to go back to the pyramid scheme part of this, and hopefully I can draw a very brief, make a brief correlation about what I do for a day job compared to this. So all of us here in the Northeast have this big, huge piece of equipment in our basement that heats our homes in the winter. So the manufacturer of that hires or contracts with a representative company that's a manufacturer's rep. I did that for a few years. So I sell that equipment for the manufacturer to a field of distribution. And my boss, I get a paycheck, but my boss gets paid a commission based on those sales. So that's almost like a pyramid. So that field of distribution has their customers, which are the installers who sell that equipment to the homeowners. So how many levels of markup are in that where we're taking the product directly and selling that to the end user? So it really is not uncommon what we're doing. I don't know that's a discussion that you want to have with somebody who's accusing you of being a pyramid scheme, but hopefully this is some knowledge that you have to give you a better understanding on how some of these products and stuff gets into your homes.
Awesome. Great analogy. One of the best ways I think is to, and I love Eric Warren's approach. He stays very professional. Just listen, tell them, what does that mean to you? Right? Because so we want them, most people actually have no idea. They just think it's something not above board. They don't know what it is. So yes, that definition absolutely, and what Jen said is great in terms of, how we approach them. Sometimes asking them, well, what do you mean by that? And then you could say, well, listen, I would never be involved with something like that. So if you ask them what they think a pyramid means, you'll be surprised that most people actually just kind of button up at that point. But that's a great analogy, Paul. Thank you.
Sometimes people will, we heard a great story. I talked about it at the retreat. Sometimes people will say, well, is this network marketing or is this multi-level marketing? And you could say, yes, this is network marketing. Have you heard of it? And sometimes people will surprise you and say, well, yeah, I've been looking for a great network marketing company. And voila, you've saved yourself a whole, debate because you just kind of responded to their question or inquiry in a very innocent, like, well, yeah, I mean, what does that mean to you? Or yes, indeed. Or, someone says this pyramid scheme, just say, geez, I don't know what that means, but we have great products that we share with other people and we don't pay anybody marketing money. So the company gives us referral bonuses. So I don't know, just play silly.
Awesome. Who else has any questions? Hey, Cindy.
Hey, thank you, Jen. That was amazing. As far as your point about I don't do shakes, I want to eat real food. I've had this lately with 2 people. And so I asked them, I said, well, do you eat yogurt or do you eat ice cream ever? Well, yes. Well, I can show you how to make this into a really thick bowl, just like yogurt. And I can also share some recipes where you can use the protein in pancakes or muffins, and that diffused that right there. So that might be another help.
I love it. That's really good.
What do we hear from Susan Wheeler said? We eat isogenics for nutrition and like other food for fun, because we're getting our nutrition, our baseline nutrition here, and then everything else is just for entertainment.
Yeah, and that's coming from an organic farmer too. So I love that. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Any other objections that we're getting that's out there that you're not sure how to deal with, or something that you came across? Eliza?
I think one of the ones that I get a lot, and I don't know if anybody else does, is that, you know, there are people out there that are not eating 3 meals a day. And then when you start to say, well, how much are you spending per day? They're like, I don't know, $2, because they're eating like, you know, nothing, or they're buying like things from the dollar menu. So then when you start to try to go down that road about price, it can get really intimidating, which is why it is so much more effective to have a third person on that call, because when it comes from you, it sounds like you are judging that they're not eating what's serving them. But when somebody else says, awesome, okay, so how are you getting the results that you want with what you're spending per day? That right there 100% diffuses that. However, coming from a person that may be a friend or a family member, that can seem really defensive and they can put their wall up. But that's why I think having that third person is, I mean, it's been huge. The amount of phone calls that, you know, we've done this week just since the retreat has been enormous. And I mean, look at what it's transpired in our business, right? But it's purely because we're adding that third person in. It's huge.
100%, Eliza. I'm glad you brought that up. 3-way calls, it's the most underutilized tool, but the most powerful. Even if you know the answer, great question. I'd love you to introduce you to my friend, Jason. You know, we're going to connect you guys, and we're going to connect all 3 of us, and we're going to chat about this. It's huge. It's huge. Thank you, Eliza.
Yeah, that third party's not attached to the outcome, and they're not personally or emotionally connected to this person. So they can say, you know, the honest truth about what this is. And one thing that I've typically done with people that, you know, skip breakfast, skip lunch, and really don't eat anything but like a little piece of almond maybe all day. What Eden Slobin does in her script is, you know, is it okay with you if I make a recommendation based on what we've talked about? So after you've done the cake recipe and you're going to tell them what program you recommend, you know, she talks about the bare bones, bottom of the line 30-day, and then she talks about the value pack. And she says, don't forget, or keep in mind, this is going to replace 2 meals a day, every day of the month, and whoever, you know, all the stuff that she says. But it doesn't even have to go into that place of how much are you spending on breakfast, lunch, and dinner, food you're throwing away, vitamins, all that great stuff. Because a lot of times if you've gotten to their real pain of why they need to do this system, and then reminded them that this is a program that's going to cover all their meals for the month, 2 meals a day, and then cleanse days. And it's going to have all the snacks and the fun stuff all included. And it's just like buying your groceries at the beginning of the month. You might not even have to go into that place where they say, well, I eat an egg and a piece of toast every day, and it's $1. So it's, you know, because that is a hard objection to, especially if you're close to the source. Like if you hear that, you're like, oh, okay, what do I say now? But if you've already set it up and you've gotten to their pain, and then you show them that value and you say, well, how about we work through this and get you where you want to go, versus focusing on what you're not eating right now, because obviously we've established that that's not getting you, you're not achieving your goals this way. So let's talk about the value in the system and what it's going to be providing for you. And, you know, you told me that you're a level 9 or 10 commitment and you want to get to your goals within 60 days. So how about we work on this and go that route?
Awesome.
I have long-winded tonight. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's good stuff. So I want to capitalize on that too. I go through that every time with them. I actually go through that in the beginning of the conversation to have in my back pocket if they say it's too expensive. Now, I'm glad you brought this up. So say they're spending $2 a day and they're eating that almond and that's it, or breakfast. Not even, I spoke to someone last week. They don't have breakfast. They don't have lunch. They have a cup of coffee. Then they have dinner. I'll still say to them, are you more comfortable investing $10 a day or $20 a day? And then I'll let them say, it's too expensive. I can't afford it. So does anybody get that at that point? You've done everything. You've restructured the conversation, because we know, like Jen just said, most monetary objections have nothing to do with the money. 95% of the time, if they say they can't afford it, it's not about the money. We've got to circle back into their why, go deeper into their why. But if they say that to you, most people just let them hang and say, okay, let's see if we can get the money and let's talk next month. Listen, say, Linda, how far away are we? You can't do $10 a day? That's fine. How far away are we? I believe in calling people out. If we're going to have a true, honest conversation, I want to know that I'm not wasting my time at this point, and this will call them out. They'll say, well, I just can't afford it. Great. What can you afford? Look, if you can start them on 2 shakes a day, that's awesome. How many people have started on, we started on product B, right? How many people, if you put those shakes in their body, they're going to change. They're going to feel it. They're going to feel the nutrition. So is it my first choice? Of course not. The value pack is my go-to 99% of the time. But if you've gone around and you believe they're authentic and you believe they can't afford it, how far away are we? If they say I only have $5 a day to spend, awesome. Figure out a pack that's $5 a day. We meet people where they're at. So the worst thing we can do is just say, okay, when you get that tax return in 4 months, let's circle back. No. Because if they tell me I can't afford anything, which has happened before, I know, listen, they got to spend some money. So I know they're either BSing me or they're serious and they can't afford it. Let's spend a half hour and figure out how we're going to get that money. Bubble, 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 right? Manager, let's bubble it up. Let me show you how we can get those. You want your program for $139. Let me show you how to do it. That's 2 people. Or you just made $311 if we do manager. And I'll show them that on the bubbles. For the new people on here, we can go through what I'm talking very fast about. I'm showing them the comp plan up to manager. So you +2, them +2. Whoever enrolled you, if you're not sure how that works, just get back with the person who enrolled you or sponsor or anybody on this call, and we'll show you exactly what I'm just talking about. So my point is, don't let them off the hook, right? If you're spending time with them and they want to make a change, how far away are you? I can only spend $5 a day. Start them there. Or I have no money at all. Great. Let's brainstorm and figure out how we're going to get you started. Let me show you what a lot of people have had to start with. You +2, them +2, and I'll just draw it. So.
Bubble, bubble, bubble.
Bubble, bubble, bubble.
Like making champagne.
Any other last minute comments on objections? You guys, here's the thing. Inviting skills, if you don't have them, that's okay. They're learnable. But if you don't learn them, you have no business. If you can't invite someone authentically to this program, then there's no business. So we have to get good at certain things. So inviting skills, there's a document in Limitless called Inviting. Read it and then role play and go over it. And if any of you are having trouble with it, get with someone. I'll go over it with you. It doesn't matter. Anyone on here will.
There's lots of scripts.
Lots of scripts. And the second thing, these objections, because you'll get into a conversation and say, Linda, I totally know how you felt the same way when I found is XYZ. You know what? I'd love to get you on the phone with Jen. You guys are going to connect and she can talk more eloquently about this. That's it. I'm not trying to convince her. I just did feel, felt, found, and that's it. So inviting prospects and objections, really role play and practice those. Any other comments on here? Jody.
Just wanted to remind everybody that we have the virtual party coming up Wednesday night. So if there's anybody that wants to be invited so you can invite people, let me know. For those that said you are open to participating by posting, I am getting that scheduled together. And we'll get that in the messenger thread so you know what you're posting when. But for anybody who doesn't know, the virtual party, it's a private event, and that is so that anyone who is attending as a prospect can feel more comfortable commenting and participating. So that's just why it's not public. But basically, it's a really great exposure, whether it's first, second, third exposure to Isagenix. Lots of testimonials, high energy, lots of information. So it's a great resource and tool for anyone who is either new to Isagenix or is on the fence, or if it's their first exposure. So if you have any questions about that, please feel free to message me. I'm happy to give you more. But just wanted to remind everybody that is Wednesday night at 9 p.m.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Jody. Lisa's going to go over some last minute housekeeping. Understand this. If you talk to someone and they tell you no, it's not no. You could take them 3, it could take you 5, it could take you 12 exposures for someone to say yes. It has been my fault in the past when the conversation ended because they said no and I didn't follow up, or I didn't schedule the next meeting or the next conversation. So understand that it's a series of conversations that does this job.
Awesome. I just want to remind people to utilize the documents that have been created in Limitless as a group effort. The 8 steps to getting an associate started off right, and the 30 days of steps for new product users, and or both. Just a couple of reminders. Jody, thank you for the reminder on the virtual party. February 22nd at 9 p.m. we're doing a telomere lecture. Josh is doing his telomere lecture. If you have not heard him do this, make sure you get on. It is awesome. You're gonna want to extend your life. Is that what it is, Kevin?
This Thursday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern.
And it's on the link and the time is on.
It's on Limitless. It's on Unleash, and it's also in the Limitless calendar.
It's for prospects, so invite your prospects and your teammates too.
All right, and then the following Thursday, March 2nd, is the TDOS and weight loss lecture that Josh is doing. And TDOS is toxicity, deficiency, obesity, and stress. Really, really great way to expose your prospects. This is really grassroots. This is how we used to do it. Like, he would do a lecture twice a month, and everybody would get on, and everybody would enroll because you know how he throws it down. All right. March 2nd, Super Saturday in Springfield. It is sold out.
Woo-woo.
Done.
Right.
However, I do have I have a call into the hotel to see if we can expand the room because the demand is
March 10th, not 2nd.
March 2nd is the TDOS.
March
and then
2nd.
March 10th is Super Saturday. Anyways, I have a call into the hotel to see if we can get the room bigger. A lot of people are asking, so once I know if we can, I will obviously open it up to our team first. All right, March 18th. We already talked about that a little bit. Eric Worre, Legendary Leadership. There's a handful of us going. So if anybody's interested, let's do it. We've got, actually, it's all women right now, right, Eliza? It's all women. So if there's any more estrogen that want to come with us, let's go. Oh, is Cliff?
No, Cliff is coming.
All right. Chelsea, you coming? Did you just raise your hand? It's in Chicago, March 18th. It's nothing. It's easy. It's one night. All right.
I'm going to try.
It's going to be fantastic. So June 23rd is the Super Saturday Portsmouth. June 30th through July 1st is the next retreat, installment number 4. And then August 5th through 8th is Celebration in Nashville. Now, if you're taking part in the February Frenzy, what's it called? Incentive based on enrollments. And a lot of you are up there in enrollments, but may or may not be registered for Celebration. If you're not registered for Celebration, you will not get the bonus. If you end up on the tier 3 and enrolling 10 by March 4th, if you do not go to Celebration, you do not get the $1,000. But all 3 tiers pay out $1,700 if you hit all 3. And it is well worth it. And the first 2 tiers, I think, are paid out March 12th, something like that. And then also, I skipped over this one, April 4th and 5th, this guy right here, this handsome fella, is speaking on TDOS and probably some telomere science as well at the Internal Medicine Conference in Miami, Florida. So if you know anyone in Miami, you know any doctors, you know any physicians who would be interested in the science behind what we do here, that is a great conference. There's a lot of great connecting that can be done at those conferences. We always have a great time when we go to them. And this is a little rumor, I'm not sure if it's true, but David Wood is doing a UIA in the Netherlands. So
when?
Who wants to go to Amsterdam? Chelsea.
All right.
I don't know when,
awesome,
but it's a rumor, and I think it's and Mocha Shakes, obviously, tomorrow.
Mocha Shakes, everybody.
So we're probably going to break the internet again. Just keep your comments on Unleash Your Limitless positive, because probably they'll be released probably around 11 a.m. Because they're Pacific time. Just help people understand that, they might not be able to get in right away. They're, but to make sure they, try to get their order in tomorrow, because I'm guessing that these things will sell out in a day.
And just remember that this company spends millions of dollars on this web portal in the back end. I don't even know what you call it. All those things that have to happen for these orders to go through. Even the best of the best, there's little glitches that happen. So they'll rectify it. Just keep trying. And like Lisa said, stay positive. Don't get upset. I mean, they're very quick to recover this stuff and get it back up and running. So
I think that might be part of the reason why they didn't release them last week, is because they wanted to upgrade the servers a little bit to make sure it didn't crash.
That's right. So again, you guys, this is our team call every Monday night, 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for being here. Get your teams on here. Invite your people on here. And rock it out this week. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Kudos to you. You guys are you're nailing it. So rip it up, and we'll see you next week. Love you guys.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Jen, thank you. That was beautiful, Jen. Great job. Thank you.
Fun.
Thank you.
Great job, Jen.
Thank you.